VO Radio, 24/7 internet radio for the voiceover community.
Hi, I'm Dave DeAndrea of DaveDeAndrea.com, and this is VO Interrogation, where we drag industry pros into the interrogation room, shine a hot spotlight on them, and see what info we can squeeze out of them that might benefit you in your career and life. In the interrogation room today, star of stage, screen, and all things audio, a true actress who has portrayed everything from a live character in the wizarding world of Harry Potter at Universal Studios to a motion-captured character in one of the biggest video game franchises of all time, Call of Duty. She played President Bosworth in Black Ops 2, which bared a striking similarity to a former female presidential contender. It's Cira Larkin.
Hey, too kind, Dave, too kind.
Welcome to the interrogation room. You ready for your first question?
You have ways of making me talk.
Where were you last night?
Well, I was sitting in front of the TV watching reruns of Blacklist.
Ah, great show.
Mm-hmm.
James Spader was born to play that role, but I digress.
Yes. No, go ahead, Gress.
What or who inspired you to pursue voice acting as a career?
Well, I didn't pursue voice acting as a career. I was offered it when I was doing a dinner theater performance. There was an agent in the audience, and she came up to me afterwards, and she was actually coming to see another actress in the show. And she said, I would like to sign you to do voiceovers. And I said, oh, what's that? What's a voiceover?
Well, it seems to have worked out pretty well for you.
Yeah, so far so good.
What's your go-to microphone?
The TLM 103 for the time being, but I used to be a mic junkie, and I realized that it doesn't really matter because every client is going to want you to sound a little different. So I use my TLM 103 because that seems to be mostly consistent. And, once in a while, if they're having a problem, then I'll switch it out to a Electro Voice RE320.
What's one gig you really wish you would have booked but didn't?
Well, I can tell you I did book something that never made it to film, but it turned out to, I never made it to film. I got booked in Larry the Cable Guy food inspector or something. And I was in it, and they cut my scene because they decided they didn't want to pay a SAG actress. They wanted to get somebody local, so they wouldn't have to pay me. And it turned out to be the worst movie. I was almost in the worst movie ever. So I'm kind of disgruntled about that.
Kind of dodged a bullet, sounds like. Where does the bulk of your voiceover work come from? Pay-to plays, agent?
I get my work through my agents, and a lot of repeat business. So yeah, which is one of the reasons why I don't have my website anymore, because I just kind of get repeat business from my agents, and that seems to float me along.
Is it more important to have a good voice or good acting skills?
Definitely good acting skills, because they're using so many different styles of voice now. They're not using pretty voices anymore. In fact, I'm using my real voice, and honestly, I don't think I'd ever work again if anyone actually heard what I really sound like.
Wait, what do you really sound like?
I sound Chicago. So I got to beat this accent back with a stick.
Do you ever get jobs where they're looking for a Chicago accent?
Well, that's why I got Call of Duty.
Oh, okay.
They wanted someone that sounded like Hillary.
What was that Call of Duty experience like?
Wow, it was pretty crazy. I'd never done mocap before, and you're always learning something new. And what they wound up doing was flying me to LA. They did it 3 times. It took about a year and a half total to do the film, and they put me in different scenarios. And I think my favorite part of that whole process was working with Mr. James Hong. It was great. I spent a lot of time with him, and it was so much fun. Jim Meskimen, he was awesome too. His mom is Marion
Ross. Marion Ross, yeah.
Marion Ross, yes, yeah. And the whole experience was just surreal. They treated me so well. They put me up at the Ritz and I'm not kidding you. They got me a limo. It was crazy. I mean, and it was a video game, but they never even told me the name of it until I got to the studio, the soundstage. So that was pretty wild.
Well, Cira Larkin, thank you so much for joining me on VO Interrogation today. You have been found guilty of being awesome.
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah.
Ditto, kiddo.
I'm Dave DeAndrea. If you'd like to do a little investigating about me, you can do so at davedeandrea.com. This interview was edited for brevity. To hear the full interview on VO Radio Online, click Listeners, then Other Audio Content.
VO Radio, 24/7 internet radio for the voiceover community.